Live tonight on Titans Talk here on News Channel 5 Plus. I'm Jonathan Hutton with Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio. Titans Radio's broadcast this Thursday night begins at 6:30 here on Nashville's 104.5 The Zone. Hope you'll join us as we're live from Everbank Field. Is it Field or Stadium?
Everbank Field.
Everbank Field in Jacksonville.
That's all right. It's hard to keep up with all those names.
I just know they have swimming pools.
That's right. The pool cabanas. That's
the
right.
baptistries, as I like to refer to them as.
They probably have done that there.
Let's go to the phones. Terrence on line 2. Terrence, welcome in.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, man.
I was just calling because I was thinking that, the NFL, most of the head coaches are usually people who've been fired from different teams for different reasons.
Right.
I was thinking that maybe the Titans could try like a good college coach. There's a lot of coaches in college that maybe we could give a shot. And like the Titans are like, we last in the division. So it's probably 90% chance that we won't make the playoff year. So I was maybe next year our big thing to do is try to come up with a good running back, like Alabama running back, Philly running, and that would make a difference with the running. And then on the defense, I'm pretty sure we use an extra corner and maybe a linebacker.
All right, we'll discuss that, Terrence. Thank you. First, on the coaching, and he mentioned a college coach. Here's how they'll do it. They will literally have 100 or so names that they'll come up with, and they will put those names into different tiers. They will have coaches that are current head coaches in the league that they think could possibly lose their jobs. Rhett mentioned Sean Payton maybe going elsewhere, or you just have shakeups across the league. Coaches leave. Those are scenarios out there. So that'll be in one tier. They'll have coordinators across the league that they think could potentially be head coaching material, head coaching candidates. That's another tier. Then they start looking at positional coaches. That's another tier that they'll look at. And then, Rhett, finally, they'll have college coaches they think could potentially make a splash in the NFL.
Interim president and CEO Steve Underwood said it the day that he introduced Mike Mularkey as the interim head coach, that they would have a far-reaching, wide search that would go in all of those areas you just mentioned. Absolutely.
615-737-7767, our number. We mentioned Jacksonville hosting the Titans this Thursday night football. And yes, you can see the game on News Channel 5. We have the color rush.
Oh, yes.
The color rush
We haven't
game.
talked about that.
Jacksonville will be in all gold. And when I say all gold, they will be from shoulder pads down to their shoes in gold. Mm-hmm. The Titans will be in their blue.
Mm-hmm. Columbia blue.
Their Columbia blue uniforms. Mm-hmm. And it will be socks, shoes, everything. Because fans have said, well, we've seen the Columbia blue before with the jersey and the pants, but it's going to be a solid Columbia blue look. And this is something that the league is doing each Thursday night on NFL Network with all these games. We saw it last week with Buffalo and New York.
Yeah, people were talking about that game last week, saying it was a Christmas explosion between the red and the green. But this one Thursday night will be interesting because those Jacksonville unis, they're gold. That's a little more like, I don't know, Dijon mustard.
That's what it looks like. A little Grey Poupon.
That's right, a Grey Poupon. And yeah, you're right. The Columbia blue socks, Columbia blue cleats. The only thing that will not be changed is the helmet, obviously.
And Mularkey said he's been told to let the players know they could not wear another color. I found that interesting today. That it is Columbia blue or bust this Thursday night. That's what he said at the press conference today.
And I'll say this. It's a variation on all these uniform changes, but I like it for one reason. And you may not like initially what they're doing, but it shows Nike's influence and the league giving up a little bit of the rigidity they normally have. Because when you're talking about uniform change of any kind, it's a major. I think they get bills through Congress easier than doing a uniform change in the NFL.
Well, they have a uniform policy enforcer, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
Employed by the league that is at every game.
That's right.
That is on the sideline.
Your socks aren't pulled up, $5,000 fine.
So during warm-ups, they have this guy. I met the guy for Tampa Bay because he's a former player. I went up and introduced myself. And the Buccaneers, he's there writing down violations. He goes into the locker rooms right after warm-ups and lets these players know, hey, your socks aren't pulled up the proper way. You're wearing the wrong color cleats.
Jersey untucked.
Your jersey's untucked. They'll let these guys know. And then if they come back out for kickoff with these same violations, they're then fined. So that's how that all goes down.
Fine. That's right. That's exactly right.
Jacksonville having their own injury concerns this week.
They are. Ryan O'Halloran, that we follow closely with the Florida Times-Union, he's a beat writer there for the Jags, came out today and said that former Titans defensive tackle, current Jags defensive tackle, Sinderick Marks, tore his right triceps muscle in that game yesterday in Baltimore, and that more than likely that's going to be out for him for the rest of the year. Michael Bennett, their other defensive tackle, who they need to play in his stead, is coming off of a hamstring that he injured in their loss to the Jets a couple of games ago. But the big one, Blake Bortles' top target, wide receiver Allen Hurns, was in Philadelphia today getting consultation on what we believe to be a sports hernia injury that could be season-ending for him. And that's a big deal because Blake Bortles has found this guy in 7 consecutive games with a touchdown, the longest streak since, I think, Des Bryant and A.J. Green.
And that's
back
a
about 3 years
franchise record for Jacksonville.
Yes. But that's the thing you have to keep in mind. It's a short week for them. They're banged up, too, because when you get to this time of the year, injuries start to crop up. And the way they won yesterday, unbelievable.
Well, two things. They hit a field goal late. If you don't know the finish, Elmas Dumerville for Baltimore has a face mask penalty with 1 second remaining on the clock that then gave the Jaguars an untimed down.
Right.
They go on to kick. The penalty moved them up into field goal range. They hit a 53-yarder for the win. News came out today. The NFL has admitted that face mask penalty should never have been called because the Jags were offsides on the same play, which would have blown the play dead. And because they were under a minute with the offensive penalty, there would have been a 10-second runoff, and Baltimore would have won that football game. So a crazy finish there. But also, Baltimore turned the football over 3 times. And that's how Jacksonville wins these games.
Oh, yeah, and most of them were Joe Flacco. That's right. But the thing of it is, regardless of how it should have ended, and they got the win, and it snaps a 13-game road losing streak for them and probably saved Jason Myers, their kicker's job. I mean, you're reading in the Florida Times-Union that this basically saved his job because I guess he's had some misses earlier in the year, and what a crazy way to end their game yesterday. So it's certainly no shortage of storylines as we go into this game Thursday night. And Mike Mularkey wants this win for 2 main reasons. And obviously the first one is it's a division win. As one of the callers alluded to earlier, you're last in the division. You may not make the playoffs. You win Thursday night, you're in the conversation because this one is wide open and will be probably till the last week of the year, much like the NFC South division was a year ago. And the other reason Mike Mularkey wants this so bad is what you mentioned earlier on this show, is that he had one shot, 1 year, 2012. He went 2-14 with an awful roster and was let go. And he hasn't forgotten it. And he's better for it. He'll tell you that. I think he was wired a lot of the same way that Ken Wisenhunt was, and I think he kind of backed off a couple of notches and learned some lessons. Like you said, he never thought he would get a 3rd opportunity to be a head coach again.
We'll wrap things up when we come back. This is Titans Talk on News Channel 5 Plus.